Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sports Card Advantage podcast. And here we go again, episode 51. We are recording March 19th, 2022, 9:31 p.m. Joined, as always, by the one and only, the infamous man of many words, Mr. Bunk. What's going on, buddy?
What's up, man? I see you got my wear black shirt memo.
Oh yes, I did. My people talked to your people, and I got the memo on the black shirt for today.
All right, here we go.
Fantastic. The hobby lost its fucking mind this week for absolutely no reason. Drake, and for you, Mr. Bunk, and the rest of you old folks out there that have no idea who Drake is.
I know who Drake is.
Maybe one of the most famous musicians on the planet, current rapper. Decided that he wanted to post a picture of his chase for the LeBron logo man, and the triple logo man. For those of you that don't know what that is, apparently there's a card out there in the 2020-2021 Flawless that is LeBron with a logo man from a Cleveland jersey, a Lakers jersey, and a Cavs jersey. So he posted a picture of, like, I don't know, 20 cases of Flawless. Those cases are going for a tremendous amount of money, and the entire hobby lost his mind. And everybody's posting and tagging, and I guess Drake reached out to various breakers, including Pullwax and a few others, and pretty much bought their inventory. And they were breaking online last night. Pullwax had 4,000 people in their live break. He posted on his Instagram that he tagged Drake, and I think people thought that Drake was gonna be in there. He was not.
He was watching, from what I understand. He just wasn't on screen. I think he was in there, just not on video.
I don't think so, because there was other people basically
last night when
saying
he was ripping his stuff, he was.
Yeah, so there was two things this week. So there was a box war with him and Shine, where they went head to head with Flawless, and Drake wound up winning that with a 1-of-1 star swatch card of Ja. And then I think he reached out to other breakers and bought out their Flawless inventory. Pullwax opened 5 cases of Flawless last night. I think those are going for $25K. You want to look those up real quick? Give me a price. But I mean, basically, from what I understand, there's been hundreds of thousands of dollars spent on Flawless by Drake with these breakers who are all trying to ride this coattail. And we like to try to bring everything back to the hobby, and whether or not everybody's like in such a freaking tizzy, like it's freaking they're 14-year-old girls, and I question whether or not this type of attention is good or bad for the hobby. So I'll kick that over to you to start your opinion on that, and then I'll throw my 2 cents in here.
Yeah, I mean, the first couple of sites I went to, they're all sold out, so the price is not even there.
Yeah, I mean, he basically started a wave of this, and I think there's people that jumped on the bandwagon.
Yeah, I mean, my point of view is I don't care that he's breaking cards. I mean, he's buying product again, like I talked about last week, that the majority of us in the hobby can't touch anyway.
Yeah.
So is it fun? Is it entertaining to watch and see big hits from people who can throw that kind of money around? I mean, I guess so. If you're into basketball, that's cool. I mean, but listen, he's got 100 million followers, right? So it's gonna get attention. Do I think it brings negative attention? No. I mean, I can't directly think of something it's bringing negative attention to.
I'll
It's
argue.
getting more eyes on cards and potentially more new people into the hobby.
Well, I'll debate you as far as whether or not it's the right type of attention. In my opinion, it's not going to be long lasting attention. And, so then you see a situation where prices spike. You have people that are late to the party, buy in, don't do their research, and wind up getting burned just because Drake said so.
Right.
And, so I think that it's not the right type of people that you're looking to bring into the hobby, to be honest with you. But obviously, as you said, he has over 100 million followers, and so yes, you'll bring some new money in, but it's a situation where it's just the flavor of the week for him, and he'll be gone. And I don't think there's going to be any long lasting impact.
Yeah, I mean, is somebody gonna ship those cards to Drake? What's he gonna do?
Nothing. I mean, give him
He won't even touch
give him
them.
away to his assistant. I
Yeah,
mean,
I don't. I mean, the best part for me, I was going through some of the threads discussing, you know, these events, and my every a couple threads, all they went to, especially if Panini was tagged in it, it became a let's rip on Panini for their lack of redemption fulfillment. It all started as Drake open flaws, and it all became you guys suck, Panini, because we're waiting 9 million days for our Wander autos or what have you.
well, I mean, I'm still trying to
That
find a
that was the best part of attention wise from the Drake thing, in my opinion.
still trying to find a quick price of the cases.
Too expensive.
I got that, but I'm just
The the,
curious.
the question is it more or less expensive than those dopey V friend boxes now?
I think it's more expensive. There's a case on StockX for 15,000. So I think
Is
so.
it a two box, a two briefcase, two boxes of that is the case?
Yeah, two briefcases is the case. It's
Yeah.
yeah. So I think from what I remember from last night. So I mean, last night was literally a murderer's row of people in the hobby that were in this room and chatting. Like you had every major influencer hobby personality, etc. That was in the room and all talking. I believe Ken Golden said before Drake started buying them up, they were selling at 9K a case, and then now they're up to like 14 or 15K a case, which
Right.
is
So now even less people can get be a part of it because of the attention.
yeah, which is crazy. But at the same time, I mean, literally, Drake could go out and buy it all out if he really wanted to. I mean, he's worth that much money. I mean,
Yeah, I mean it's cool the gambling aspect of it trying to pull because there's 5 of those LeBron cards, right? Because I saw a picture, one was already pulled, so if he was chasing it, it was pulled before he even opened his cases. I think there's 5 different ones. I think 5 different one-on-ones of those is my understanding. But in any event, dude, the dude's got money. Wait till one goes for sale and buy one. I
well,
mean, I get it, the the gambling and the thrill of the pull of it, but
I mean,
you got that much money, it's not even fun at that point. I just buy it when it comes available.
yeah, I'm actually gonna do a quick thing. You spend $1 million. Let's just say average of 12,500 a case. That's 80 cases you can buy and rip. And just for $1 million. I mean, for Drake, $1 million is nothing. I mean, and I don't know. I don't know how many of those cases were made and how many of them are floating around. But I mean, that the estimate that was also being tossed around last night was 5 million. That card gets pulled and it's going to go for five
Six
mil.
figures, 100%. Yep,
Well, 7 figures.
7 figures.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
like
saw the same thing.
spend 1 million, crack 80 cases of this stuff, buy it all up, buy it all out, and if you pull it, then you can 5x your investment. I mean, that would figure. I mean, I'm sure there'd be a lot of angry people in the hobby that he freaking just went out and bought all the inventory because he could. But
Yes.
I don't know. I hate seeing everybody fawn all over it and like try to tag him Drake gives a fuck who you are. Like all these breakers and all these people are literally like trying to swoon over him, and it's just like, dude,
Yeah, man, they're just trying to get in there, get those likes, dude.
I guess I don't know. I,
It's
I
like if you weren't in there posting and whatever, you felt like you were losing ground
yeah, I guess. I
in
mean,
in the space.
people just just chasing the tail of him and what he can potentially shed light on just with the amount of followers that he has. I mean, I'm sure card porn got a boost because he tagged card porn when he posted his pictures, but I don't know. I want to see like we had the boom and then we had the crash. I want to see this thing settle and steady growth and get some sort of semblance of a regular pattern of ups and downs versus you get something like this,
These anomalies, yeah.
yeah, where it could move things. But I mean, so far the only impact that's being seen is on cases of flawless. I mean, there's nothing else really that people are getting crazy over. But
I think most people are just saving their money for Mitch Trubisky.
the Mitchapalooza baby. Now that he's a Steeler, everybody's gonna go crazy.
Dude, some of his cards are like through the roof right now.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean,
if you would have bought on speculation in November, December, you're potentially crushing it right now.
Yeah, there's a couple of guys. Kenneth Fornos.
Well, he was over that even earlier than
yeah,
that.
he was on the Trubisky train. I mean, but that's the thing. You find some backups that have a chance to start. That's a good way to make your money. I mean,
people love quarterback.
Yeah,
nothing else in football is worth collecting.
Start looking at
order to make money anyway.
Yeah, start looking at Baker. Baker's going to wind up somewhere else. And, for whatever reason, he can redeem himself somewhere else. Get in Saints, get in Seattle, a couple of other places that are better football cities and places where he may be able to succeed. I mean, Baker goes to Seattle and winds up with, DK and Lockett. You never know.
Yeah, it could be something there.
All right. Last week we talked about ZeroCool. Those boxes started to ship out and started to get in people's hands. So we're going to take a quick rundown of some of those products because they're selling for absolutely ridiculous amounts of money. So we're going to look at some completed items on eBay here just to run through this.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. So sealed boxes. 13,000.
Get out of here.
Sold today for 26 bids. So it's one box sold for $13,000. This Dutch auction went off at 2,100. So whoever this person is that bought this thing, 6x'd their money.
I saw singles prices were going bonkers.
Well,
so
I'm gonna get
prices are probably climbing because the singles are going through the roof.
Yeah, I'm gonna get there. So yeah, so then there's another one, $9,999, best offer. Another one at auction, 12,100. We had a couple go for 15. Another one yesterday at 10.8, 999.69. And then some of the singles. I mean, these are base cards. One of the base cards, awesome African civet base trading cards, $755, 33 bids at auction. Ambitious Angel base card, $930, 28 bids. Oak Monster, $755 base card, $910 base card. I mean, this is bananas. I mean, everything Gary Vee touches turns to gold, and people are like bananas with him. And obviously, his stuff, like his NFT, has gone through the roof, and so is this. But at some point, I mean, I don't know. Is it the scarcity, the rarity? Is it obviously Gary Vee's brand? Or are we going to set this thing up for a crash and eventually this shit is gonna plummet?
Gotta plummet. But we'll see.
I mean, people said the same thing about his NFT, and floor price on that, even in a down market, is I think it's like 13 ETH.
See, something like that I would have thought would be a better would hold value better than
Ooh,
cards.
16 ETH. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, only 16.
I mean, his stuff is like he just continues to expand his brand. I mean, the last one sold for 17 and change, which was $50,000. I mean, basically, it's a minimum of 50 grand to get into his NFT project right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I mean, there's for now there appears to be enough people buying that the single prices may hang up there for a while.
So I guess here's the question: the next time that
Maybe
Zero Cool releases a product, same style that doesn't have the same backing as Gary V, people are gonna overpay for it.
100% they're going to overpay for it because they're going to want to make sure they get their hands on the box, not to miss out. And
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah. But remember, there's only 22 copies of each base card in this set, so they're rare. They're definitely rare. Each base card is only 22 copies. So, but the problem is, if you're starting to pay upwards of 10K, you've got to be doing, you get 8 base cards. You got to be doing $8,000-9,000 per base card, and then hope your parallels kick ass in order to make any money.
Yeah.
Because I would love to know, polling wise, like how many people are just doing this to turn everything around and make money, or how many people are people actually collecting?
So I'm trying to find any insert, like any non-base cards, and see what those sold for, but I haven't been able to find any.
Oh, they're easy to find. You gotta either type in the words rare. Well, the parallels are to 8 to 5 to 2 and then 1 of 1. So if you type into /8 5 or 2, you'll find it. So it's a base card that is 22 copies.
Jeez, even as of 5 days ago, the boxes were selling it for 5K at auction. So you could have bought this thing on eBay for 5K on the 14th of March and then turned it around and flipped it for almost triple.
Yeah, but the problem is it's not going to be like you said. It's not going to be the pattern on every product. At least I don't think.
No, 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 not at all. And P.S. that Deshaun that we were looking at 1625 right now, 10 minutes to go.
It's probably gonna. I think it'll probably go over that 2K mark.
Yeah, it'll be damn
As you
close.
mentioned.
Yeah, we were looking at a 2017 green Deshaun Watson auto, but it's also an inflated market
Oh, we had to
because he
buy
just
that 6 months ago.
6 months ago, 3 months ago, that card was selling for $500. Anyways, so yeah, so there you go. There's your Zero Cool update. Going to be interesting to see what other products they roll out, and this sets gets Zero Cool and Fanatics out on a huge bang, but at the same time also sets a dangerous precedent for people that are going to be buying into the next set of products.
And,
Yeah,
and it's too bad it's only art and pop culture and entertainment because I want in my head I'm like, boy, if they came out with a sick baseball product next, it would go through the roof.
yeah.
People would be all over that.
Well, I mean, they have
baseball coming up.
I mean, unfortunately, I mean, they can't. I don't know how quickly that it takes to get art and all that stuff ready. Does it take them? I guess it takes them longer than they've had to put something out for this season.
Oh, I'm sure, but I'm also sure they probably have stuff lined up that's completed.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
yeah,
to
but
put this
that.
stuff together and print it and box. I mean, there's prep there. It's not like they can just say this week, okay, we're rolling out this in 2 weeks.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like that's all Tops's stuff. It's not anything that Fanatics. It's not part of their
No, I know.
creativity. It's all.
I'm just saying genre that would explode following this release.
Yeah, I would agree. But we'll see what they come out with next. They haven't announced anything. They haven't said anything. So I'm curious to see what's gonna come next. And I mean, I have to imagine that people are gonna get fucked on that. But we'll see. Alrighty, let's move right along here. We got quite a bit of investment stuff and things to talk about price wise. We have basketball season wrapping up. There's 12 more regular season games, so basketball is going to be a pretty heavy focus for the hobby, and then obviously baseball going to be kicking off. And then we'll close the show with some old man rants from Mr. Bunk. So yeah, Slab Wars this week. We're gonna focus on good old Luka Doncic. We got a couple of Luka cards to look at. First is the Luka Doncic Prism base card, one of the most heavily graded cards of all time. I think it's behind Griffey and Ja, and comes in at number 3. So we have that. We were able to pull prices for 4 out of the 6. So there was a BGS 10 recent, 1338 on that. PSA 10 422. So the BGS 10 doing 3x what the PSA 10 is doing on this card. I mean, that's all pop as far
Shows you
as.
the PSA 10 is crap.
All right, guy. Let's not start this again. I think it just comes down to pop. I mean, the PSA 10s, there's 18,000 plus of them. BGS 10s, there's incredibly scarce
There's
for
nothing
that.
to do with pop. If they're all 10s, it doesn't matter what the pop is.
What do you mean?
If there's 18K PSA 10s that are 10s, and there's 5 BGS 10s that are 10s, aren't they all the same? They're all 10s, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It comes down to pop. There's very low BGS 10 pop, hence the value is very high, but there's very high PSA 10 pop, hence the value is very low.
No, you're missing the point.
Okay, then
If they're all supposed to be 10s, it doesn't matter the population. You could have 1,000. You could have the same number BGS 10, and it would sell for more. Why? Because it's in a BGS slab.
guy, if there was
Period.
if there was 18,000 BGS 10s and 18,000 PSA 10s, the prices would be very much closer together than they are.
Well, with that type of number, yes. I'm just getting on a rant because I'm mad at it. But the point is, if they're both 10s, it doesn't matter what the pop is of one and what the pop is of the other.
Guys, save your rant energy for later. The actual
No,
things
you're missing.
that you're no, you're missing the point of supply and demand.
There you go. Supply and demand.
Yeah.
If they're supposedly the same grade, it doesn't matter.
All right, guy.
Clearly,
The
the
guy,
BGS 10 is held in higher regard.
the
again.
horse is dead. It's been kicked
It's not
14
dead.
times.
Yeah, I'm simply making a point. You said it had to do with population, and it does not.
What the fuck are you talking about? Of course it has to do with population. If there was 18,000 BGS 10s and 18,000 PSA 10s, there'd be like a $50 price difference. Because the pop is so high on both, the BGS versus PSA argument really wouldn't come into play here. But since
the point is there wouldn't be 18,000 BGS 10.
God, I'm done with you on this.
There would be 9.5 all
topic.
day long.
Done with you on this topic.
Carry on.
3X BGS 10 versus PSA 10, BGS 9.5 280, SGC 10 352. We're not able to find any HGA or CSG 9.5s or better. Those were only 9s in recent sales. So the moral of the story here is, due to the scarcity of population, the BGS 10 comes in at 3x what this of the PSA 10, and the silver 2018 Luka Silver PSA 10 going for 2605, BGS 9.5 going coming in at $1,010. So definitely a pretty large gap. Could potentially be a really good arbitrage opportunity there. If you can find a quad 9.5 card that looks really good. Obviously the gem rate on the Prism is very high. So that's definitely a potential opportunity as far as grabbing a BGS 9.5 Luka, cracking it and submitting it to PSA. Is a $1,600 difference in price between BGS 9.5 and PSA 10. Do you have any other comments you'd like to interject with here, sir?
No, I'll school you. I'll school you after.
You'll school me after?
Yeah.
Please school me now. What do you have to offer here?
No, nothing.
Considering you missed the boat on basic economics, what else
Nope,
would you
didn't
like
miss the
to
boat.
say?
Yes, I understand if there's 18K and 18K. I get that point. What I'm saying is, even if if they're all supposed to be 10s and they're supposed to be interchangeable, the value should be closer. But they're not. It's the company label that's on the card.
Yes, but at the same time, once again, it's all about supply and demand.
Not if they're the same grade. I don't view it that way at
Well,
all.
what then take BGS out of the fucking equation and put PSA versus SGC. Then why, if they're all supposed to be the same, then why the
All right, so say there's an SGC 10 and there's only 5 of those. What's going to sell higher, the PSA 10 or the SGC 10?
the PSA 10?
Right, but there's 18K of them, and you're telling me the scarcity of the SGC should make it more
Well,
valuable.
no.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're saying, guy. You're telling me because there's only 5 BGS 10s that it's worth more money. So if there's only 5 SGC,
So yeah, if there's only 5 in this particular, so yeah, if there's only 5 SGC 10s and there's 18,000 PSAs, the value is going to be pretty damn similar. I mean, look at
we see all the time SGC 10s fall well short of PSA 10s.
Yeah, because the pop. I mean,
no, stop you! You can't use the word pop. Yeah, I gotcha, bitch. Let's go. Move on.
All right.
Yeah.
At some point, we're gonna have to. We're gonna rehash this when I can put some other research together where pops are similar.
Research it up.
All right, moving along. Baseball. Ronald Acuna coming back. Spring training. Have to hope that he bounces back, is fully healthy. Picked up a couple of pieces for you guys in regards to opportunities where they're low pops. 2018 Topps Chrome X Fractor PSA 9 pop 134, coming in at about $280. The high on this card was almost double that at one point. And then also Topps Chrome Refractor, $135 on a PSA 9. The highs on this were over $350. So, definitely some opportunities with Acuna. I think as soon as spring training heats up and he shows that he's healthy, there's definitely going to be a jump in these. And then last but not least, you want to also something a little bit rarer as well. 2018 Topps Update Rainbow Foil at bat blue jersey, PSA 9 selling for $280. The high on this card is over $600. Pop is $226. So some of Acuna's cards, have massive pops on them, but these are all pops 300 and less. So if you can find them, should be a good deal, and also you have potential for growth there as the season gets rolling.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna be fine. These ACL surgeries are nothing. He's a beast. He looks like he works his ass off. The Braves are gonna be looking to go deep into the playoffs again. He's gonna have a chip on his shoulder because he had to, he couldn't be a part of that.
The World Series, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that would utterly kill me as a player having to watch that. I may be happy for my team, but holy cow, I think he's gonna be MVP discussion all year.
Well, there you go. Buy up some Acunas, find the stuff that's the low pop opportunities. Some of his cards are selling, PSA 10s are selling for $100 and $150, but the pops on those are like 8 to 10K. So here's 3 options for you that are all low pop, all under $300. That could provide some opportunity for you as the season gets going.
Yeah, and even though that last one you had is from Update, but because it's the rainbow foil, obviously it's a little scarcer, and those are usually a tougher grade. Those cards usually are chip in or a little bit more banged up. So if you find one of those PSA 9, I like it.
Yep, absolutely. So there's a ton of player movement in baseball, so we're going to talk about that a little bit right now, as far as guys winding up in new homes and whether or not their buys. First off, Chris Bryant was a Cub, then a Giant for a cup of coffee, and is now playing in Colorado. If you look at his 2015 Topps and Bowman Chrome cards, you can find PSA 10s of these, all mostly for under $100, $150. Some of them are 30, 40, $50, all PSA 10s, all low pops. His first few years of his career, he was 30 plus home runs, 100 RBIs. Now that he's at Coors, he has an opportunity to potentially get back there. What do you think as far as hobby value? Is there an opportunity here to, get in on some of this stuff while it's cheap? And, first few moon shots that he hits in Colorado, whether or not, people start to buy it up.
Yeah, there's a couple things at play here in terms of buy or hold. If there's been any spike whatsoever, and you're saying there hasn't really been, everything's still cheap with this
Uh,
movement here.
yeah, I mean, stuff moved up a little bit since last fall,
Yeah,
but that was
so
even before the trade, like before he made the move.
yeah, I mean, there's a couple negatives here, right? The Rockies are essentially useless and irrelevant, so you're not going to get any kind of hype there. Uh, in terms of Bryant values. He now on the good side is to your point is everyone tends to hit a little better at cores. So if it inflates his numbers, he could get a little boost in that department. But I don't think it's going to be enough for a long term play on him to jump it up. I mean, he'd have to be absolutely crushing it. I think to get any kind of reasonable return on a short term play with him there.
Okay, and then any,
And I just don't think he's all that great of a player. I mean, he's a nice player, but I
yeah,
mean, you can't look at the dollar number he got and say, okay, this guy's an absolute superstar. I don't put him in superstar category whatsoever.
yeah. I mean, if you look at his career numbers, they're not there. And
No,
what?
I personally, I think if you have stuff of his and there's a little spike right now heading into the season, I would probably personally, I'd probably sell now.
Yeah,
Would be what I'd probably do. And again, I definitely have some bias. I just don't think he's a great player.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's one of the reasons why we bring it up and talk about it. Because I know
No doubt.
there's a lot of people that are assuming that he could get back to 30 to 40 home runs and 100 RBIs and at cores. So you know,
And if that happens, I think there's time. You're going to have a little bit of a window. I don't think you're missing out if he hits 10 home runs in April and the cards go up a little bit. I think there'll be plenty of opportunity if he's going to return to form where you'll catch a downswing and can get in there.
yeah. And with that, with all the other baseball player moving, anybody that you like as far as them winding up in a new home.
Matt Olson would be my guy. I mean, his stuff was pretty much dirt cheap for the kind of player he turned into last year. Now he's on a relevant franchise with the Atlanta Braves replacing Freddie Freeman. So again, like we just spoke to, we're expecting them to do great things in the NL East again. And Matt Olson's definitely on the radar now. His stuff definitely
His stuff has
pumped a
already,
little
yeah,
bit.
his stuff popped.
Yeah,
If you look
hundred
at
percent.
I'm looking at his Topps Chrome Auto from 2017. As of March 6th, selling for $28. As of
And
March
the
8th,
trade was March 14th,
yeah,
I believe. So
as of March 18th, selling for $67. So
so three
it's
X already on that.
literally tripled in the last 12 days.
Yeah. So and again, if going back, I always talk about career numbers guy. I mean, he's gonna have to hit 30 home runs for the next 7 years, and maybe he's gonna be up to 350 home runs. So I think he's more of a short term type of guy there. But Braves are winning, and you can still get in now. I think those cards are still gonna elevate.
Oh, geez. His refractor auto, $39 end of last season.
Yeah, they're
Last
150
sale,
plus
100.
now.
Yeah. So yeah, his stuff's already 3x. So be careful if you're looking at Matt Olson. His stuff has definitely popped in the last week, and since it was so cheap, there's a ton of people that bought it up.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. I've done that a few years. I know, believe it or not, right before or right when the Yankees traded for Didi Gregorius, I happened to be on my phone. I went to eBay immediately, and every PSA 10 with a low buy it now, I just bought because it was
Yeah,
sitting there. No one changed their prices yet. I just bought them all up, got them all in hand, and he gets announced as the Yankees, starts playing well, and I just relisted it all.
yeah, yeah. His stuff, even his graded stuff, Topps Chrome PSA 10, $53 before the trade, $123 after the trade.
Yep.
So I mean, you're in territory. The high on this card is 140. So you're definitely in territory that it's never been seen before on his stuff. If it's going to continue to go up, so definitely something to keep an eye on, but also something to be careful with.
Yeah, I think he's going to continue to have a nice career. So if I'm holding X number of pieces and it's near all time highs, I'd probably sell half right now,
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
personally.
but also Braves have an opportunity to win over the next couple of years, so we'll see
100%.
see what happens, see what he does.
It's all a matter of your patience level.
Very, very true. That another person we need to talk about is Mr. Fernando Tatis. Obviously, though, for those who haven't heard yet, if you live under a rock, Tatis decided to ride around on a motorcycle in the Dominican Republic, fell off said motorcycle, and injured his wrist. Since there was the lockout, he wasn't able to communicate with the team. The team just found out, and now they're saying he needs to have surgery. So we're going to bring in Dr. Bunk. For those of you that are new to the show, Bunk is a licensed physical therapist. So he is qualified to talk about this stuff and actually knows what he is talking about. So why don't you give us a rundown on the injury, when you expect him back, and whether or not you anticipate any sort of long-term issue as a result of the injury, and then feel free to rant on his durability.
Well, no, I mean the issue here is I think he fell several months ago, and then there's a rumor going around that when he asked, when he fell, he responded which time off
Yeah.
his motorcycle.
Well,
So
he also thought he jammed it, and didn't do anything about it.
yeah, so the issue here is if depending on when he injured it, if it was several months ago, and to your point, they weren't allowed to contact or communicate with the teams. So if he's having surgery to fix this, it's because it's poorly healed, or there's bones that are malaligned, and it's not going to heal well, and it's going to lead to chronic pain, blah blah blah. So they've got to go in and stabilize the fracture so that it heals well and gives them the best chance to be pain free and regain all of his strength. So in terms of long term, yeah, they'll take care of this. They'll fix it up. No problem. Plenty of guys, and the most recent wrist fracture I can remember. And I think he did it bunting. He took a fastball off his wrist. Was actually Trey Turner a couple years ago. Broke his wrist, and I don't believe he needed surgery, however. But he came back from it. I always think wrist and forearm. I hate that for if you play baseball, you know all about the grip and the turning over of the forearms when you're swinging, and that could be such a pain in the butt with a painful wrist. But my issue with Tatis more is that this dude is injury prone. I don't care that this had nothing to do with a baseball injury. I understand he fell and it's a fluke and anyone can trip down the stairs, but this guy is now. I remember having a conversation with someone 2 years ago, and they're asking me about Tatis, and they were specifically asking me, and the dude was 22 at the time or whatever. And he's having back pain. Like, this isn't good. Like,
Yeah.
shouldn't already be in bad. Then his shoulder, and now his wrist, and I think he had something else too that he's missed time with. So,
Yeah, he had a
um,
quad or hamstring injury in his rookie season.
yeah, it just and I feel terrible for the guy because there's no doubt this guy's this ultra elite talent, and and it kills me to have to wonder, is this guy never going to live up to what he could have been because he can't stay healthy?
So
And go
bringing
ahead.
it back to the hobby, are you out on Tatis?
Long term, I'm starting to consider it. I'm starting to consider it. Because you can't keep missing these chunks of games and chunks of seasons and then have any kind of good career numbers. If he has a 10-year career and he has a burst of just because listen, in any kind of little stretch, the dude's awesome, but then he disappears. So I don't know. It's going to be tough. He's still super young, and he grows into his body a little bit and maybe takes care of himself a little better, and then he could
Yeah, so
still have a
2019 he
career.
played 84 games. 2020 was the shortened season. How many games were in the shortened season?
60.
Okay, so he played the full season, 2020, but still only 59 games. And then 2021 he played 130 out of 162.
Which is pretty good considering his arm came out 3 times.
Yeah. And he hit 42 home runs with
Oh,
97
he's
RBIs.
ridiculous. Yeah, I'm just
25
this
steals
dude's ridiculous.
in a shortened season for him. Yeah, so
Got
uh,
it, but it's got to make you nervous.
Yeah, absolutely. And from a hobby perspective, I mean, basically, I would wait a couple weeks for him to the hype around people talking about the injury and the start of the season to die down, and there should be opportunities to scoop him because I'm sure as soon as they announced the injuries, there are people that dumped their Tatis cards.
Yeah, and listen, he's so young and so good that you have plenty of time to do short term
Yeah,
playoff.
yeah, yeah.
Plenty of time.
I mean, he'll be fantastic for short term in and outs for this because he continues to get hurt. You dump his cards when he gets hurt, and you buy back in at lows and then resell when he comes back and hits his first 5 home runs. I mean, it's already a foregone conclusion that as soon as he steps on the field in June and hits 5 bombs by the end of the month, then his
Yeah, all's forgotten.
yeah, it's prices go back up.
But I tell you what, I'm probably not seeking out, even if I had the loot, I'm not seeking out those holy grail pieces of him right now and paying through the nose because I think I'm going to put it in a safe for 15 years. I'm just not doing that at this point with him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how you could, considering the fact that he's had the 2 full seasons, that he had the opportunity to play. I mean, he's gonna miss almost half the season this year.
Hmm.
I mean, they're talking June 15th is the earliest that he's gonna be back, which is April. Yeah, so it's 3 months. I mean, he'll miss 2 months of the regular season, but July's All Star break, so you're talking about almost half the season.
Yeah, and I couldn't find it because it does matter, but there's a zillion bones in the wrist, and it does matter what was broke and what had to be stabilized in terms of potential setbacks, etc. So what we're really going to be waiting for is just when he's cleared for baseball activities or when he can start doing some dry swinging or something of that nature, and then we'll get a really good idea of what his ramp up time will be and if June 15th is a reality or not.
Yeah, I mean, if he has to miss any more time, then that'll be even. You'll have a Zion situation. Where they keep pushing. They push the deadline back, and his cards will continue to lose value.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll lose value, but again, he's so young and so good. You're still going to be paying for his stuff, hundred
Yeah,
percent. You're just hoping that, to your point, the second he goes off, you're going to be able to take care of it.
yeah. I mean, and speaking of possibilities of that, I think there's a bit of an interesting situation brewing with Zion right now, as far as whether or not he is going to come back. The Pelicans are in a situation where they could be. They're right now. If the season ended today, they're in a play-in game for the playoffs, and I'm
Oh,
really curious to see if they're going to potentially try to get Zion back to get on the court for a couple games of the regular season and then that play-in game. I mean, and then well, for whatever reason, he plays well. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens with his card prices.
yeah, even in that short burst,
Oh yeah.
I think just people seeing him back. I mean, that's not going to be enough for me personally.
No,
I need to see healthy camp next year and start the damn season.
yeah, I'm talking I'm
We don't
talking
even know where he might be.
yeah, I'm talking completely short-term flips. I
Hundred
mean,
percent, I understand.
right now if you're a gambling man and you want to roll some dice, I mean, he's been participating in shooting drills at practice. Um, so there's a possibility he gets on the court for the last 5, 10 games of this, 5 or 6 games of the season, and that he could play in the play-in game. And
Now, that
I'm just gonna flip to the standings real quick.
now,
NBA standings.
to your point though, what else could happen here? If he gets back and plays and looks decent, what's going to happen? What's the first thing people are going to do?
Well, you have certain people that are gonna buy, and you have certain people that are gonna sell.
Well, that's what I mean. My point is, I think there's going to be a flood of Zion's out there, and there's probably still going to be some nice values.
Yeah, I mean, because I know that you and I are sitting on Zions that we're waiting to dump. Um, but here's the interesting part about this is as of now, if the season ended tomorrow or today or whatever you want to say, it's going to be LeBron and Zion plays. It'll be LeBron versus Zion for the chance to play Timberwolves, whoever wins the Timberwolves Clippers. So you could, I mean, set the stage and go have the hobby go crazy.
Hobby hype train, baby.
Yeah, hobby hype train. Zion plays LeBron, and for whatever reason the Pelicans can win, and then Timberwolves win. Then you have Zion versus Anthony Edwards. I mean, there's definitely some possibilities there for pumps on both Edwards and Zion, or you'll have LeBron versus Edwards if provided the Timberwolves can beat the Clippers.
Yeah, it could get funny. NBA is gonna be interesting now.
Yeah, I mean, if we see a similar spike in the NBA as we did with the NFL, I mean, there was a really nice spike in the NFL on guys, going into the playoffs and through the playoffs. So hopefully, we'll see the same thing with the NBA, and there's definitely some opportunities out there to scoop some stuff up. Do you want your time for old man rants on penny sleeves?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad idea to put out that public service announcement.
By all means, and please allow me to set the stage. We recently bought actually on this podcast last week, we bought a Don Russ Choice Red Anthony Edwards off eBay with the hopes of grading it, sending it out, getting it graded. PSA 10s are going for like $750 to $800. So it would have been a nice flip for us, probably 3x our money. We get the card in, Bunk takes a look at it, and I will allow you to take it from here.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on, dude. We have a technical difficulty. Bunk had an interference from a family member, so we will.
Yeah, unfortunately, I just caused you to edit this potentially, but
we're gonna let it roll.
All right.
It's 10:15 on a Saturday night, and I'm getting this thing up right after we're done.
Then,
so
then I've got to go take care of a child, so I am out of here.
All right.
So rant for next week.
We'll save that rant for next week. Go handle your business. Episode 51 in the books. Thanks for listening. We'll see y'all next week.